Memories are what allow us to close our eyes and feel nostalgic about our experiences. They can make us laugh by ourselves or bring tears of emotion. They're the stories we tell ourselves, the love we've felt, and the lessons we've learned. But have you ever thought about what it would be like to wake up one day and find that your memories are slowly fading away, becoming a blur in your mind? That's the heartbreaking reality of Alzheimer's disease. It's not just about forgetting where you put your keys. It's about losing the memories that define you, the ability to think clearly, and even the simple skills we take for granted every day. Is there a cure for Alzheimer's? Is there any way to prevent this disease? Nearly 7 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's, and it's a thief that slowly robs them of everything they've known and loved. But there's hope. Today I want to talk with you about Alzheimer's, what it is, why it happens, and how science is helping us understand and fight this devastating condition. There are ways we can work together to prevent it, to slow it down, and to offer hope to those affected. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with your friends and family. Have you or anyone in your family noticed any memory changes? Which part of the world are you from? Leave your comment below. What is Alzheimer's disease? Alzheimer's disease is a progressive brain disorder that deteriorates over time. It involves alterations in the brain that result in the accumulation of specific proteins. There are two proteins involved. One is called amyloid, which creates plaques around brain cells, and the other is tau, which forms tangles inside brain cells. This condition leads to the shrinking of the brain and the eventual death of brain cells. Alzheimer's disease is the leading cause of a dementia, which is marked by a gradual decline in memory, thinking, behavior, and social skills. These changes can impact a person's ability to carry out daily activities. We've all had those moments when our memory seems to play tricks on us. Take John, for instance. John had always been the storyteller of his family, weaving tales of his childhood adventures and recounting the milestones of his children's lives. But lately, something was changing. One afternoon, as he sat at the dinner table, he struggled to remember the name of his youngest grandson, a name he'd once said with pride. His wife, Mary, gently reminded him, but the blank look in his eyes lingered. It wasn't just names that slipped away. John began losing track of time, forgetting whether he'd eaten lunch or where he had placed his glasses. He would stand in the hallway, unsure of which room he was headed to, the familiarity of his own home starting to feel distant and strange. The diagnosis of Alzheimer's confirmed what the family had feared. John was slowly losing the memories that had always defined him. Does this sound familiar? Comment below if it happens to you or someone you know. What are the earliest signs of Alzheimer's disease? Alzheimer's symptoms gradually develop and become more severe. It impacts various brain functions and is most frequently seen in individuals over 65 years old. Here are some early subtle signs that may indicate the onset of Alzheimer's. There are around 10 key symptoms to keep an eye on. 1. Forgetting recently learned information. This is often the first sign people notice, but they usually brush it off. Everyone forgets things sometimes, right? But with early Alzheimer's, it's not just occasional forgetfulness. It's a pattern of forgetting new information more often than usual. The key here is recently learned. Your brain is still holding on to old memories just fine, but it's struggling to form and retain new ones. So you might forget about a conversation you had yesterday or a new recipe you tried last week, but you can still clearly remember your childhood best friend or how to make your grandmother's famous cookies. 2. Difficulty planning or solving problems. This one sneaks up on you. You might start having trouble following a recipe you've used many times before, or you find yourself staring at your bills, feeling overwhelmed by the math you need to do to pay them. These tasks that used to be routine suddenly feel more challenging. It's not that you've forgotten how to do math or follow instructions. It's that your brain is working harder to process and organize information. Tasks that require several steps or concentration become more difficult. 3. Struggling with familiar tasks. This is similar to the planning problems, but it applies to everyday activities. You might get lost driving to a place you've been to hundreds of times, or you find yourself pausing in the middle of making coffee. trying to remember the next step. These are tasks that should be almost automatic. When they start requiring conscious thought, it's a sign that something in your brain isn't working quite right. 4. Confusion with time or place. This isn't about occasionally forgetting what day it is. We all do that sometimes, especially if our routine has been disrupted. This is more fundamental. You might lose track of dates, seasons, or the passage of time. You might forget where you are or how you got there. It's like your internal clock and GPS start to malfunction. Your brain struggles to keep track of when and where you are in the world. 5. Vision problems. This one surprised me. I didn't realize Alzheimer's could affect vision, but for some people, vision problems are an early sign. This isn't about needing new glasses. It's about having trouble understanding visual images or judging distances. You might have trouble reading or recognizing colors, or you might start misjudging distances, which can make driving dangerous. These vision problems happen because Alzheimer's affects the parts of your brain that process visual information. 6. Problems with words. This isn't just about occasionally forgetting a word. We all have those tip-of-the-tongue moments. This is more persistent. You might stop in the middle of a conversation, unable to think of the right word, or you might call things by the wrong name, like saying that hand clock instead of watch. You might also start to withdraw from conversations because you're having trouble following them. Your brain is struggling to process language in real time, making it harder to keep up with the flow of conversation. 7. Misplacing things. Again, this isn't about occasionally misplacing your keys. This is about putting things in unusual places and being unable to retrace your steps to find them. You might put your phone in the refrigerator or your wallet in the laundry basket. What's happening here is that your brain is failing to form new memories about where you put things. So when you go to look for them later, you have no memory trail to follow. 8. Poor judgment. This one can be particularly troubling for family members to witness. You might start making poor decisions about money, like giving large sums to telemarketers. Or you might neglect personal hygiene, forgetting to bathe or change clothes regularly. Your judgment is off because your brain is having trouble processing information and predicting outcomes. The complex decision-making process that we usually take for granted start to break down. 9. Withdrawal from work or social activities. This often happens because the person is aware that something's not right. They're having trouble keeping up with conversations or work tasks, so they start to pull back. They might stop going to social events or give up hobbies they used to enjoy. This withdrawal can look like depression, and indeed, depression often accompanies early Alzheimer's. But it's not just feeling sad. It's a response to the growing difficulty of engaging with the world. 10. Changes in mood and personality. This can be one of the most distressing symptoms for both the person with Alzheimer's and their loved ones. Someone who was always easygoing might become easily upset, or a shy person might suddenly lose their social inhibitions. These personality changes happen because Alzheimer's affects the parts of the brain that control emotion and social behavior. The person isn't choosing to act differently. Their brain is literally changing how they process and respond to the world. Now here's the tricky part. Everyone experiences some of these symptoms sometimes. We all have days when we're forgetful or moody or make a bad decision. The key is to look for patterns. Is it happening more often? Is it interfering with daily life? Are you or your loved ones noticing these things and feeling concerned? If you're worried, the best thing to do is talk to a doctor. They can do tests to determine if these symptoms are due to Alzheimer's or something else. Many conditions can cause similar symptoms, including stress, depression, vitamin deficiencies, or other medical problems. Only a doctor can make a definitive diagnosis. But why does it matter to catch Alzheimer's early? After all, there's no cure yet. Isn't an early diagnosis just bad news sooner? How to diagnose Alzheimer's disease. Healthcare providers have various methods to assess whether someone with memory issues has Alzheimer's disease. This is important because other conditions, especially neurological ones, can also lead to dementia and similar symptoms. At the start of diagnosing Alzheimer's, a provider will ask questions to gain a clearer picture of your health and everyday life. They may also seek input from someone close to you, like a family member or caregiver, to better understand your symptoms. They will inquire about your overall health, any current medications you are taking, your medical history, your ability to perform daily activities, any changes in your mood, behavior, or personality. Additionally, a provider will conduct a physical exam and a neurological exam, carry out a mental status exam, which includes tests to evaluate memory, problem-solving skills, attention, basic math, and language abilities. Request standard medical tests like blood and urine tests to eliminate other potential causes of the symptoms. Order brain imaging tests, such as a brain CT, brain MRI, or positron emission tomography, to confirm an Alzheimer's diagnosis or rule out other possible conditions. Actually, early diagnosis can make a big difference. For one thing, some of the treatments we have work better the earlier they're started. They can't stop the disease, but they can slow it down, giving you more good years. How to treat and prevent Alzheimer's disease. Recent research involving mice, partly funded by the NIH and shared in the Science Translational Medicine, presents a promising approach to removing amyloid plaques from the brain. This strategy focuses on harnessing the brain's natural cleanup team, immune cells called microglia, that play a role in slowing down Alzheimer's progression. The findings indicate that it might be feasible to create immunotherapies that stimulate microglia in individuals with Alzheimer's, enhancing the removal of amyloid plaques. It's natural to be scared of Alzheimer's. It's a frightening disease. Understanding the early signs doesn't make Alzheimer's more likely to happen. It just means you're better equipped to recognize it if it does. Think of it like learning the early signs of a heart attack. Knowing what to look for doesn't make you more likely to have a heart attack. It just means you're more likely to get help quickly if you do have one. In fact, some of the things that are good for your heart are also good for your brain. Eating a healthy diet, exercising regularly, staying socially active, and challenging your mind with new activities can all help reduce your risk of Alzheimer's. But even if you do everything right, Alzheimer's can still happen. It's not anyone's fault. It's a disease, not a personal failing. The important thing is to be aware, to pay attention to changes in yourself or your loved ones, and to seek help if you're concerned. And remember, even if Alzheimer's does come knocking, recognizing it early gives you the best chance to fight back. So let's be vigilant, not paranoid but aware. Let's look out for ourselves and for each other. If this video helped you out, why not give it a quick like and share it around? It could really help someone else looking after their brain health. Recognize any of these signs in yourself or someone you know? Drop a comment and let's chat about it. If you want to stay in the loop with more health tips, just hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We release new videos every week. Your likes and comments really keep us going. They show us what you want to see more of. And before you go, check out these 2 videos we selected specially for you. I think you'll love them. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.